Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Tonight, our presentations of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance is conducted by Owen High School, and their instructor is Lieutenant Colonel Brooke King, the United States Army retired, and Sergeant First Class Jeffrey L. Garland, United States Army retired. Would you please rise?
Forward, march, from half left, march, march time, march, color, halt, left, face, present, color.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry, color, right, face, forward, march.
Thank you. I'll ask that you remain standing for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. You may be seated. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Our superintendent, Dr. Jackson's comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, parents, members of the community, board members, and teammates. I'd like to first congratulate our newly designated and redesignated National Board Certified teachers and look forward to recognizing those who are able to gather with us this evening. I'm very proud of all of their incredible efforts in showing their professionalism and dedication in earning this highest of certifications. I would like to share with the board and with the community that the Buncombe County Schools is hosting an educator career fair on this Saturday, March 4th, 2023 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. right here. This is an amazing school system, and we are looking for incredible and dedicated educators to join our team. If you're interested in attending the job fair or in applying for a position, please call the school system or refer to our website. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank the town councils of Black Mountain, Montreat, Weaverville, and Woodfin, and the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners for their support of our school system through passing a resolution in favor of school calendar flexibility. These 5 elected boards have all taken action in support of our students and families. Thank you to the town of Black Mountain. Thank you to the town of Montreat. Thank you to the town of Weaverville. Thank you to the town of Woodfin, and thank you to the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners for your partnership and support. The superintendent's listening and learning adventure continues as I spend my first 100 days as your superintendent in discovery and exploration. I've visited all 45 schools and have spent a full school day in 26 of our schools to date. This month, we completed the 7 community town halls with meetings in each of our 6 districts and an additional virtual town hall. I tremendously enjoyed meeting parents and community members and want to thank all who were able to attend. I would like to especially thank our board members for their attendance. Several board members were able to attend multiple town halls. I want to give a special shout out to Madam Chair for having perfect attendance by attending all 7.
Aren't y'all impressed?
I am. Please also let me thank our communications team for their work to set each one up and for their work with the technology department to be able to stream the virtual town hall live on 2 different platforms simultaneously. Finally, I do want to thank our district team members, including our sign language and Spanish interpreters who were present at 1 or more of our town halls, and to tip my cap to Mr. Jeremy Stowe and Mr. Stephen Earwood, who are helping lead our district disaggregation team and also attended all 7 town hall meetings. This week I had the opportunity to join Dr. Reed, Mr. Huff, district staff, and Madam Chair in enjoying the talents of our youngest student musicians as our elementary, intermediate, and middle school all-county chorus performed. It was absolutely amazing. A huge shout out to our music educators across the school system. What a tremendous example of what it means to be a school system as students came together from Alexander to Azalea to Asheville, from Jupiter to Skyland to Inca, from Leicester to Montford to Montreat, from Candler to Swannanoa to Forks of Ivy. Their voices, joined in harmony, vividly demonstrated how our Buncombe County Schools system is the tapestry that weaves together all of the communities across our great county. The rigor I'm encountering in the classrooms during my visits, the feelings of warmth and care that permeate our buildings, and the quality of our teachers and staff members all make me confident that we will achieve and accomplish our collective goals. I'm so very proud to say that the school system I encountered 48 years ago as a student, 31 years ago as a new employee, and 22 years ago as a parent continues to build upon our great tradition of excellence. We know that we still have much work to do and that we can and must continue to improve. I just want each of you to know that I could not be more proud of all that I experience in our classrooms and schools. We know that students, families, and the community have never needed a strong, loving, and caring school system as much as they do now. We accept this challenge. We commit to each and every one of our students. We will elevate to new and majestic heights. We will give our all because our students are worthy of our very best efforts. To our team and to our board members, thank you for all you do for the students, families, teachers, and staff members of Buncombe County Schools. Madam Chair, this concludes my comments.
Thank you. At this time, we will entertain our good news, and that is with Dr. Harris.
Good evening, Dr. Jackson.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And also Dr. Reed.
Yes.
We are no longer waiting for her to be Dr. Reed. She is now Dr. Reed.
Dr. Jackson, Madam Chair, members of the board, for our good news this evening, we're going to be recognizing our new and renewed National Board Certified Teachers. As Madam Chair mentioned, Dr. Jennifer Reed will help us with that, as will Angela Wool. She is a renewed National Board Certified Teacher. And Ms. Wool, if you could go ahead and stand right here, and we will turn it over to Dr. Reed.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Dr. Jackson, and members of the board. It is no surprise to any of us that teachers are the #1 difference maker in a child's education. In Buncombe County Schools, we are so proud of our difference makers, and we have a lot of those here with us tonight. The teachers who are here are either newly certified National Board teachers, or they have renewed their National Board certification. As a previous National Board certified teacher, I know firsthand the commitment that it takes to journey through this process. And the fact that this work was done during the middle of pandemic recovery makes it that much more special. The destination, which we do celebrate tonight, is certainly very sweet, but the journey is what national boards are all about. Through a diligent process of planning, evidence gathering, reflection, and refinement of practice, these teachers have what it takes to be difference makers, and we are so thankful that you all are part of the Buncombe County Schools family. At this time, I would like Angela to come on over to say a few more words.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson, Madam Chair, distinguished board members, and honored educators. Tonight we have the honor of recognizing the dedication and talent of our new and renewed National Board Certified Teachers. We recognize them because of one word: impact. They have demonstrated great positive impact on their students' learning. I'm honored to be among them. Excuse me. I'm honored to be among them. 5 years ago, I stood here as a newly certified National Board teacher, and today I celebrate my maintenance of certificate. It remains the proudest accomplishment of my professional career. Achieving certification has been more impactful on my student outcomes than either of the 2 master's degrees I already held. This was not a test of already honed skills, nor was it a professional development to acquire new ones. For me, the National Board process was indeed both. It required digging deep into myself for evidence of my content knowledge. use of differentiation, the learning environment I foster, and an honest reflection of my effectiveness on my students' learning. It was a rigorous, time-intensive, and often tearful experience. The result was a showcase of student learning born from intentional decisions, careful planning, and artful execution. It was impact. Since then, I've assisted with workshops and coached my fellow educators through this rigorous process because I believe in the outcome. I believe that having National Board Certified Teachers makes Buncombe County a superior system because these educators lead to greater impact for students. Nationally, only 3% of educators attain this certification, yet as of 2022, 30% of Buncombe County Schools educators have done so. Ranked 18th in the country for the number of teachers holding current certification, Buncombe County Schools outpaces the nation's largest school districts. I believe that this is a reflection of the priorities of our school board. Thank you, board. You have supported workshops and provided work days for our candidates. But mostly, I believe this is a reflection of the high caliber of our workforce. Teachers encourage others to become National Board Certified because they have experienced the impact within their classrooms. They volunteer to meet on weekends. They study together and support each other. They read each other's drafts and sometimes provide brutally honest feedback and are always ready to receive feedback as well, always with the focus of the impact for student learning. New and renewed Nationally Board Certified Teachers, celebrate your accomplishment. Congratulations. It was a difficult undertaking, but one with purpose, which was to increase the impact on your students. Yet I can think of no place better situated to support you in this journey than here at Buncombe County Schools. Thank you.
Hey, it's time to announce our newly certified and renewed National Board teachers. We will do this district by district, so board members, I'll let you know which district is next, and if you would just come forward and stand in the middle for a photographic moment, that would be wonderful. And we will start with the Robertson district, so if Miss Amy Churchill would come forward, please. The lanyards are right here. We'll be presenting each person a lanyard and a certificate. And we will start with Sherry Barnett, Valley Springs Middle School, newly certified, in absentia. Stephanie Callahan, Valley Springs Middle, in absentia. Jenny Elks, Robertson High, in absentia. Elizabeth Ford, Robertson High, in absentia. Joy Keene, Robertson High, in absentia. Chris Lingle, Estes Elementary, come on down. Linda McDonald, Avery's Creek Elementary. Priscilla Nutt, Glen Arden Elementary, in absentia. Laura Swangham, Glen Arden Elementary, in absentia. And Alan Wilson, Robertson High School, in absentia. And that's all for the Robertson district. All right, thank you. Our next district will be Reynolds District, if Mr. Rob Elliott would come forward. All right, first up is Bonnie Hanna of Cane Creek Middle School, newly certified. Congratulations. Nicole Osborne, Cane Creek Middle, in absentia. Kim Altman, Reynolds Middle and Emma Elementary. Come on down.
Hey.
Logan Chalice Killen, Haw Creek Elementary, in absentia. Angela Inslee, Oakley Elementary, in absentia. Teresa Lynn Getty, Haw Creek Elementary, in absentia. Will Henry, Haw Creek Elementary, in absentia. Elizabeth Love, Reynolds High, in absentia. Rebecca Payne, Oakley and Bell Elementary Schools, in absentia. Jillian Tart Snyder, Reynolds Middle School, in absentia. And Karen Yutzi, Fairview Elementary, in absentia. And let's... Our Inca District Board Representative, Judy Lewis, come on down, please. Okay. First, we have Molly Carver, Pisgah Elementary, in absentia. Michael Giesing, Inca High School, in absentia. J.B. Halpin, Pisgah Elementary, come on down. Rebecca McCord, Inca High School, in absentia. Liz Parker, Hominy Valley Elementary. Stacy Pavlina, Pisgah Elementary. April Pewitt, Candler Elementary. And Tara Ross Mowry, Pisgah Elementary School, in absentia. District is next. If Ms. Plemons would please come forward. I think Irwin wins for the number of newly certified National Board candidates. Breckheimer, Evelyn Intermediate, is in absentia, and she's newly certified. Also newly certified, Amy Lunsford, Woodfin Elementary, in absentia. Newly certified, Shelley Metcalf, Irwin High School, in absentia. Lissa Pedersen, Lester Elementary in Woodfin, newly certified. Kimberly Dotson, Emma Elementary. Russo Cavender, Eblin Intermediate, Irwin High School, and Irwin Middle School. Sarah Swan, Owen Middle School, Woodfin Elementary School, in absentia. And Veronica Williams, Irwin Middle School. Congrats to our Irwin candidates. Congrats. Next up, we have Owen District. So if Miss Peggy Buchanan would please come forward. First, we have newly certified Ashley Stiles from Black Mountain Primary School. Michelle Allison, Owen Middle, in absentia. Ashley Beauregard, Owen High, in absentia. Aaron Blyer, Owen High School, in absentia. James Cooper, Owen Middle, in absentia. Bill Festi, Owen Middle, in absentia. Samantha Gallman, Owen High, in absentia. Krista Langlois, Owen Middle, in absentia. Lucia Lorenzo, Black Mountain Primary. Rachel McKinley, Owen High School, in absentia. Mary Ray, Owen Middle School, in absentia. And Sarah Reimer, Owen High School, in absentia. All right, next up, we have our North Buncombe District. If Miss Ann Franklin would please come forward. Congratulations to newly certified Kelly Edmonds of North Windy Ridge Intermediate School. Congratulations to newly certified Stacy Kitt from North Windy Ridge and Barnardsville. Brandy Fleckenstein, North Windy Ridge, in absentia. Jonathan Hintz, Weaverville Elementary, in absentia. Tracy Kirkendall, North Buncombe High, in absentia. Gregory McPhee, North Buncombe High, in absentia. And Angela Wool, who's standing right beside me. I gotta give Orange District is last but not least. Ms. Simpkins, if you would please come forward. Elizabeth Apostolopoulos, in absentia. Philip Justin, in absentia. Suzanne Pruitt, Nesbitt Discovery High School, in absentia. Samuel Summers, Early College, in absentia. And Darcy Wallace, Early College.
Darcy speaks Spanish.
And I'll talk really slow so they can put the screen down. And that concludes Good News for this evening. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your hard work. We appreciate everything you do for our students. I helped people when they first started that. It was a bear. Nobody knew what they were doing. Well, that side emptied. Good news curriculum feature, Jennifer. You ready? Our good news, no, our curriculum feature tonight is with Dr. Reed.
Good evening. I will be introducing our curriculum feature tonight, which will not be Dr. Reed. It will be Miss Carla Billups, who will follow me. There are many great things that make our Buncombe County Schools elementary experience special, other than all of our wonderful teachers who are so amazing and the difference makers in our classrooms, STEM education is at the top of the list. I am so proud that Buncombe County Schools has systematically and very intentionally embedded STEM labs in all of our schools, kindergarten through 5th grade. It is experiences like this that prepare our students for a future by engaging them in hands-on experiences that promote creativity, collaboration, and critical thinking. We are very fortunate to have Carla Billups. She is our STEM coach at the helm of this work, where she has been since the very beginning. Carla Billups, come on down and tell us a little bit about the amazing knowledge you have about STEM education.
Dr. Reed. I like saying that a lot. Dr. Jackson, Madam Chair, and the board, and our Buncombe County Schools community, I'm really pleased to talk about elementary STEM, which is something I'm very passionate about. Just a brief history. 2014, Buncombe County Schools was the recipient of an Educational Workforce Innovation Fund grant from the Office of the Governor, and the main goal was to bridge the STEM pipeline from elementary and to get our kids interested before they get into middle school and high school. The first year we worked on research-based science kits. It brought in my position, and then we started to phase in Project Lead the Way, which is a nationally known good program, but it's based on national standards, and it's quite costly, but it was a good way to get us started. So one of the things that we looked at was we could only afford to put it in 5th grade, and that only the schools that had 5th and 4th grade together were recipients of this grant, so it wasn't equitable. And it wasn't sustainable because past the life of the grant, we weren't going to be able to keep the program. So when we went one-to-one, we started to think of ways, what can we do with those computer labs and those assistants who might be leaving their positions? So I was able to work with the Office of the Governor and change our grant, and we had some roundtable meetings and discussing turning them into STEM labs, which would be K-5, so it would be equitable for all of our students. So we started looking at that conversion from computer labs to STEM labs. Started working on developing curriculum for the first year for a pilot. So 2016, we had one school in every district was a pilot school, and then we rolled it into all K-5 schools by 2017, 2018. So that became really nice. So with the redesign, we had our technology department gave us some funding, Duke Power gave us a small grant, and that helped us kind of reconvert. We put some capital outlays into the rooms. We were able to get some technology in there, and our computer labs assistants who were interested, because it was a way different position, became STEM lab assistants. And the positive change was the equity and the sustainability. Our STEM labs probably they're sustained by the schools, and they run, I'm being generous saying $350 to $500 a year. They don't cost that much. I know some labs are going on $150, mostly in masking tape. So our next big change was 20,000. During the COVID time, we had lots of Zooms with the STEM lab assistants, and we decided to make some changes. So every single science objective has one engineering design challenge. We added STEM careers to every single challenge. There's like 230. There's a text connection in every single challenge. The science lessons that the challenges link to are embedded in the lessons, so teachers just have to click on the link and they pop up, so there's not a lot of work for them to do on that. And then we made Google Slides for every single challenge, so our STEM lab, the people who really run the STEM labs are assistants. They shouldn't have to make those slides and those seesaws. So I learned a lot more about seesaw than I ever thought I would as we developed all those. Our STEM labs are based on the engineering design process. We have some shiny stuff, but we use a lot of consumable materials, and we work with low tech, and the kids do their own design. Our main challenges are tied to the science standards. They are not science, so they're not coming in to learn science. They're coming in to apply science. And so that's the application of the science. They're problem-based, so there's a problem tied to every challenge that's real-world connected and kind of meaningful to kids. We do leave it open for teachers to look at the challenge and say, oh, this connects to what we're doing in their class, and they can rewrite the problem if they want to make it even more tied into their class. And it really works on the idea that the science content is taught before they dig into the challenge. For elementary, there's a 5-step engineering design program. If you look at process, if you look at high school, they use a 7 or even 9-step, but we keep it very simplified. And this is the basis of everything. All of our challenges, they go through the same process because the idea isn't itself the challenge. It's learning a process to solve a problem. So it's that the problem solving is the big thing. So it goes through ask, they imagine, and we let them kind of go wild with their imaginations because the best designs come out of their wild designs. They plan, they create, and then they improve. And the whole testing it out and sharing are also built naturally into this process. And then they have a place for reflection, which is a wonderful place for ELA because they can write about it, they can share it out loud, lots of speaking and listening. So there's a really strong tie to ELA standards in there. So you have a little purple bag. This is a challenge for you guys to take home and do. This is based on a first grade physical science, which is...
Thank you, Carla.
No, but adults, this is one that's done in a lot of places. I did it with principals, and I caught some cheating. They were looking up the answer online.
Principals cheating?
Yes, they were. It was hilarious. And it didn't work. That was the best part. So about push and pull on the force and motion. And so here's the problem. It's these guys are working on a mock-up for a new environmentally friendly plane for Boeing and trying not to use jet fuel. So they only plan on working with straws, tape, and paper to make their prototype. So you have some straw, you have some tape, you have some paper, and you have a little sheet to help you guide it through it. So one evening when you're saying, I need something fun to do, you can work on this challenge. And the challenge is only using paper loops, tape, and a drinking straw, make a plane that can fly 15 feet. And so that's your challenge there. Very open-ended. Once they get their challenge, then that's when they start their process of working through the engineering design process. And we have some really good STEM lab folks who take them through it in many different ways. So our highlights are, one of the things I hear over and over, I have seen STEM lab assistants in tears, that kids who struggle academically, they are their shining stars in STEM. That's their thinking. They are those out-of-box thinkers, and they just shine. And I was talking with one a couple weeks ago, and she said the kids were like, it's her? She had that design? She did that? Because she never did well in class, and she's a quiet kid, but she was the star in STEM lab. So that's just probably our highlight of all. We're able to attract families and keep them in Buncombe County schools that are looking for alternative schools. We have a couple schools that have other schools in their backyard that they're able to keep them because of the STEM lab a lot of the time. We find kids do not want to miss the days they're in STEM lab. They're at school and they're very engaged. Our district-wide STEM lab, STEM Day continues to grow. We have 27 or 28 presenters this year. More schools are doing their individual STEM days and STEM nights at their school. I get requests from teachers to do engineering design challenges in other content areas, so I write challenges for them. And we have a group of very committed STEM lab assistants who go above and beyond and work super, super hard. And they do it because they love it. We have a group that I just love them to death because they're wonderful. Our benefits are the STEM pipeline. We're starting to build this. We get kids engaged in STEM early on. And these next three are highlighted because I hear this over and over when I do things with the workforce. Our STEM labs, our kids learn to collaborate. They develop problem-solving skills, and they communicate because they work collaboratively. They talk a lot because STEM labs aren't quiet. And those are the three things that workforce people want our kids to have, those skills. I was told a guy coming out of engineering school, when they come to work for our firm, we're going to teach them how to what we want them to do. But we can't teach them how to collaborate, how to problem solve, and how to communicate. So that's the benefit. It's a place for creativity, multiple solutions, and they learn that failure can lead to success, that failure is not a bad thing. They can not succeed and they think of new ideas to go further. And we have kindergarteners at the end of the year who can tell you what constraints and criteria are. So it's pretty cool. Some additions that we have in STEM Lab, we have a challenge of the month. It's more thematically based, but it's still based on the engineering design process. We have some challenges that were designed around books. So there's one book, and I've written a challenge for every grade level that's different for that book. And I know some schools take the book and they use that across the whole school, and then they each all do their different STEM challenge. We have a monthly STEM newsletter. This year we were the recipient, well, last year, of a PRC 201 grant for robotics clubs. And so we have 4 Lego robotics clubs competitive. They're getting ready to go to their first competition in April. And technology was very generous to us this year, and we were able to add the same Lego robotics to 17 STEM labs who were really interested in getting that technology. And we've got some, they're pretty advanced robots, and so it's really cool to watch the kids work with them, and us learn them too. What's to come? I'm going to reapply to the PRC 201 grant if it is put out there again, because we already have 3 schools who want to come in, and we want to add North Windy Ridge, who've already been doing this, and so we want to add them so they have some other funding. I'm getting ready to take we have all of our curriculums housed on Canvas. I'm going to put it on Google Classroom because it's more comfortable for some of our teachers to access. New science standards this summer will be going before the legislature, so I'll have to go back through all of our challenges and do a revision and make sure they match up and keep on designing more challenges for other content areas and taking these. And this should have played. This is some of our, I wonder if we can get it to play. No, oh, let's see, will it? Here we go. This is from Glen Arden. These are the after, oops, can you guys see it? It's not playing there. Uh-oh. Well, it's the Lego robots, and they focus on mostly girls for that robotics team, because we were looking to do underserved populations in our grant. And finally, Saturday is STEM Day, so we hope to see you all out. It's going to be a fun day. You guys have our little logo stickers inside your little packet. We have, like I said, 28. We have a couple food trucks. They've been interesting to work with this year. And it's from 9 to 3 here at Nesbitt. So I hope to see you all there.
Thank you, Carla.
If I could just make one comment. One of the things that I really love about this program is when I was in elementary school, we didn't do things like that, obviously. We didn't work together in groups. And it's teaching these children today what it's probably going to look like for them in the workforce. Because, coming out of a career in banking, we always talked about teamwork, collaboration. And this is really teaching children at a very young age how to work well together with others. This is a really cool thing. So thank you for doing that and what you're doing for children. I love it. I love it. That's great.
Now time for public comment.
Madam Chair, we have 3 public comments tonight. The first speaker is Kendra Parks. If you would just state your name and the district that you come from, and there's a timer right there that gives you 3 minutes. It turns yellow when you reach 30 seconds. Oh, right there.
Kendra Parks. I have 3 kids in the Buncombe County Schools districts, and I also teach 7th and 8th grade at Valley Springs Middle School. So I am speaking before the Board of Education today to be a voice of a lot of my students. They would like to reinstate the acceptance of dodgeball in the PE curriculum. Seems like a silly thing to advocate for in the minds of some, I'm sure, but in the minds of my students, my colleagues, and myself, it's an important pastime of fun and skill building that has been taken from this new generation because of misplaced fear and frustration. I do not know why dodgeball has been banned from Buncombe County schools. I can only assume based off of what my colleagues have told me. One argument made was that it makes students a target and can perpetuate bullying behaviors. My response to this is that that's not a dodgeball problem. That is a school and student culture problem, and bullying can and does occur in multiple types of activities when allowed by leadership. Another reason I've heard is because students can get injured. My response to this is that students have a chance to get injured during many activities. The statistics for adolescent physical activity-related injuries in school PE have not had any significant change from 2008 to 2020. These studies maintain that nearly 70% of PE-related injuries occur when they're playing running, basketball, football, volleyball, soccer, and I doubt you will bound those sports. So injuries were caused by contact with another person, playing surface, equipment, overuse, and activity-related illnesses such as heat stroke. This is a direct quote from the Injury Control Research Center. To get rid of dodgeball and that will solve all our problems. This is what a Band-Aid looks like on a bigger issue. The approved dodgeball, which I have brought before you today, is a very, very soft ball. It's made of foam, and it won't hurt you even from the closest distance in a structured dodgeball game. You can control how close or far you get from a throw, and it's very much an illegal move to target somebody's head. It's an automatic out, and most students try to avoid this suspension. Students will also be given an opportunity to choose an alternate activity and will never be forced to play if it brings that much fear, anxiety, or stress to them. Students who misuse equipment or target other students in inappropriate ways will have consequences just like they would in all other activities. In conclusion, there's always a risk to anything done in physical education. It's my job as the leader of my class to minimize this risk through rules, procedures, and expectations. Other school systems around us have trusted their physical education teachers to make their own decisions on how to teach fine motor movements and skill-based movements. I ask that you trust us to do the same. And keep in mind that we keep the best interests of our kids and health at the forefront of our minds when creating daily lesson plans. I brought with me today hundreds of student signatures that prove the majority of our students want the opportunity to participate in dodgeball just as each of us have in the past. Don't let the thoughts of a few dictate the fun and the learning of the majority. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Could we get those signatures, would you? Mr. Elliott?
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Parks.
The next speaker is Nissa Rain. Just state your name and your district, and you'll see there's a timer here that's green until 30 seconds, then it turns yellow.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Nissa Rain. I'm a parent of 2 students in the North Buncombe district. I come to you tonight again to get a few facts on the public record. All of this information has already been sent to every board member, and I can send it out to anyone else who requests. I'm easy to find on the internet. COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon, if ever. I want to advocate for better protection against this horrible airborne disease for our teachers, staff, and especially students, children. I'm tired of constantly being sick. I'm tired of seeing my kids suffer an illness that can easily and cost-effectively be prevented. And I'm sure everyone here is too. Here are the research-based facts. COVID-19 was directly responsible for the death of 818 people yesterday alone. This is not counting indirect impacts. COVID-19 impacts the body's immune system, therefore making each individual more susceptible to many other illnesses and viruses, including strep A and influenza. People with COVID-19 reinfections were twice as likely to die and 3 times more likely to be hospitalized than those with no reinfection. Additionally, people with repeat infections were 3.5 times more likely to develop lung problems, 3 times more likely to suffer heart conditions, and 1.6 times more likely to experience brain conditions than patients that had only been infected once. People reinfected with COVID are twice as likely to die and 3 times more likely to be hospitalized than those who were infected once. Studies have shown that most infections in lab rats, after the 15th infection, all the rats were dead. So there's a limit to how many infections and reinfections we can get. You can get reinfected once every about 2 to 3 months because of waning vaccines, new variants. I encourage everyone here tonight and the board to please research. I've given you all the facts. I have all the citations and sources. We're ignoring this problem. It's a very serious threat in our classrooms. Studies also show that just a 10% increase in students wearing a mask, not even a KN95, just any kind of mask, reduces COVID-19 infections in wastewater from schools by 50%. Studies also show that when school nurses who diligently teach students about good hand washing hygiene can also teach about mask wearing and form fitting, that can also reduce COVID infections. However, my children were only taught about hand washing. So I have so many other points to make. I would encourage the board to please let me come and present formally on this topic as I've requested, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And the final public comment tonight is Alyssa Patterson.
Hi, everybody. So I appreciate the accolades. I was here for national board certification. So I have my national board certification. It was so much work. It was so much time. It was so many weekends. It was so many holidays. I didn't see people a lot. And I'm in a lot of good company with that. It's an honor. But I want to say this to the general community. It also needs to be stressed that National Board is a private organization that partners with Pearson for their online testing assessments. And I think that's important because I want to stress also, it's the only avenue that teachers have for any significant raise in the state. If you're grandfathered in with your master's degree, you get a differential. If you want to get your master's degree now, there's no financial incentive from the state to pay teachers for a master's degree. We're one of the states that does not pay you if you want to become a master in your education craft. If you're grandfathered in, good for you. If you're not, so I wanted to remind the public of that because a lot of people in the public don't understand that we're in a state that does not value the education enough to allow our teachers the financial incentive to get their own education, to be stronger in their own education. There are states that make it mandatory that teachers get their master's degree within 5 to 10 years of teaching. We're not one of those states, and why? There's lots of reasons for that, but maybe dismantling of public education on a state level. So we are 34th in the state in teacher pay, and when teachers have to worry about their pay, it's robbing our students of a teacher that can be fully committed to being in the classroom and being available for their students because they're not worried about paying the bills. And I've said many times, teachers do not get into public education to get rich. That's never a reason, but to feel comfortable and to not be scared from a toothache, to be scared from a fender bender, that it's gonna just throw everything under the bus. So I encourage the public to ask our state representatives to design a system where teachers are paid what we deserve, to design a system where public education teachers can get their master's degree and are incentivized to get their master's degree the way that we are incentivized to get our national boards. There's a reason why North Carolina is one of the highest states with national board certification of teachers. It is a good thing to be national board certified, but to do that with the exclusion of being able to get your master's degree is not a testimony to the system that exists in North Carolina. Thank you.
Thank you. It's now time for the action agenda. The first item on the agenda is the budget amendment. This Ms. Thorpe. Do board members have questions for Ms. Thorpe? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second? Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next item's elementary class size waiver request. Are there for Haw Creek and BCS Virtual Academy? Are there questions from the board on this item?
I just had a quick question. I think Superintendent Jackson could probably
Okay.
answer. I noticed, so the class size waiver request process for Haw Creek, it's just for because of the addition of one student since the start of school. And I guess the law states that if that student comes in excess of the class size restriction, then this waiver process kicks in.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so it's just that one student.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions or comments from board members? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The next item is the addendum to the memorandum, understanding of United Way of Asheville and Buncombe County Schools to support community schools. Are there questions from board members on this item?
Yes, I have a
Yes, sir.
question. I think it's probably best directed to perhaps Dr. Cassada or Superintendent Jackson, but my question's really just around, I read through the addendum, and it appears to be a really innovative and novel way to expand counseling services in our school system to help our students. And I was just wondering if you could just give sort of a brief overview of how it's going to work and how it's going to function. And I have a couple of specific questions around that, but just wanted to hear your description first.
So, first of all, we're blessed to have the United Way partnership to begin with, which helps, make our community schools a very real reality, not just in that they supply a lot of things for the students in our school day, but this has been particular after the school day. Of course, you're familiar with our homework diners and some of those resources that we've had in the past. What this would do would, through a grant that the United Way received that set aside dollars that could pay for things that address students' mental health, is sort of the way that grant was assessed. At first, we were trying to find mental health therapists and mental health within the Buncombe County area to address those needs, but could not find adequate support. So when we had some outside-the-box thinking with those at United Way, North Buncombe, Dr. Johnson there at North Buncombe Middle, and then our team here at the central office, we were able to take our counseling staff that is currently at North Buncombe Middle School, pay them to continue in the same functions, the same job functions, but they will be paid through United Way to do those after school hours. So it'd be 3:30 to 5 that they would be able to do those functions. That way they'll still be able to maintain the same student population. They already know those students. They've developed a relationship with them. But having that freedom outside of the school day to focus solely on group therapy, if they wanted to do some type of group sessions together, or one-on-one sessions together. So it really expands the day, but really focuses their effort.
Thank you. And I noticed that this addendum really is specific to Reynolds Middle and North Buncombe Middle. I assume that's because these services are generally accessible already in the rest of our schools?
So the United Way already has, in our original memorandum, those middle schools that are a part of the Middle School Success Program and have been deemed as community schools, that's why they are targeted to begin with, because their grant, the United Way grant, is to be used in those schools. The first two sites that we are going to look at in particular will start with North Buncombe, and then as we get that implementation rolled in, we'll move to Reynolds, and then we'll look at expanding that if they are able to get the grant back into some of our other community schools and middle school sites that United Way serves.
And I saw this expires, I guess, at the September timeframe of this year. Is that correct?
I'm sorry?
The addendum?
September 3rd, I believe, is what the date was, yeah.
But that's this year. So I assume that if it's successful this year, then this will be back in front of us again at that point in time.
United Way is the grant writer of that particular federal grant, so they are certainly wanting us to use the money now, show the success, build that data so that when they reapply for that grant, that they would be able to extend that beyond.
Lastly, some of the verbiage in here specifically, calls out school counselors. Do school social workers, are they a part of this program as well?
No, the school social workers have a unique population that they would be serving that is sort of a pre-identified group. This would be open to any student in the student population that is being able, or that are able to stay from 3:30 to 5, which we're also working on getting the transportation piece as well, so that we take transportation out of the equation through some work with United Way also. So no, our social workers certainly have, some of our social workers have the clinical skills to do some of those pieces, but their job functions that they do during the day would not necessarily translate over into the community schools grant that they have.
Okay, yeah, so thank you. So it sounds like it's expandable in the future as well. And I just want to say, I mean, when I read it, I was excited because I know something that we are all concerned on this board is, being student focused and meeting the needs of our students from a mental health capacity perspective is really critical, right? For them to be able to learn and be, to thrive, I guess, in our school system. And so as we seek, creative, novel solutions, within the confines of our tight budget that we have to operate under, solutions like this are just, I think, invaluable to help serve our students. So I just appreciate all the collaboration. As I've heard around the community, this was partly spurred by Jamie Johnson and some ideas she had around using our school staff. So again, I think it's a great opportunity to just expand our ability to help serve our student needs. So thank you.
The idea really will, if we are able to meet some of these, what we call tier 2 level needs, which is what these really will be focusing on, that saves the referrals for our tier 3, our highest level needs, to go to our school-based therapists at that point then. So yeah, we hope it's great benefit, and we'll see it down the road in other places.
Great, thank you.
Dr. Cast, I have a couple questions. How do we measure the success of this program?
Certainly by the number of referrals that we get initially, we want to see that it's successful in getting students that can and are willing to stay after. That's certainly one measure. The other will be just kind of what I alluded to, is we see the wait times decrease on our school-based therapists, which are our highest level. Those wait times right now can be 3 and 4 months. So if we address some of the student needs earlier in some more unique ways, then our wait times for those severe student issues that are severe mental health needs, that wait time will be cut, is what our hope. That's another good measure.
Okay, so when you say wait time, that means meeting with their school counselor?
They're school-based therapists.
Gotcha.
Our local therapist
Okay.
agencies that are helping us meet
Okay.
those mental health needs.
Okay, and let me just say, I think Irwin Middle School was maybe the first one.
So yes, and
Yes.
so one of our things that we're hoping to do, because Irwin has a health center.
Yes, we do.
Okay, and so that health center is going to be able to have a mental health therapist inside the health center. So they've actually got an additional way that they're going to be able to address these needs. And I think that health center should be open some after hours times as well too. So it'll be doing the
That's
same
right.
function basically.
That's what I understand.
Yes.
And it is very important. It's a very important program. So my last question is, so I assume it will be renewed at some point. It'll come up for renewal of the contract with United Way.
So because United Way was the originator of this grant.
That's right. It's
they're
their
the
grant.
ones that have to do that. And I think that is going to be, I think May is when they're putting up for application again. So I think, really getting some good benefits here in this last couple months will help them be able to apply again.
Okay. I very much support this program and very appreciative to have it in my district.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Thank you, Dr. Cassada. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Yeah, so moved.
Thank you. I think that was the motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is memorandum of understanding for North Carolina Outward Bound regarding services for Owen High School. Are there, for Owen High School? Yeah. And are there questions on this item? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. That's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is North Buncombe High School, use of capital outlay for athletic allotment. Questions on this item?
Not a question, Madam Chair, just a statement. As I stated last month, North Buncombe softball certainly needs, there's some things that we need in that district with the softball program. Having, as Mr. Yance told me the other night, reminded me they went to state 2 years in a row. So I'm excited, and I will definitely make the motion to approve this. I think you'll appreciate that,
I will
Madam Chair.
appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Clemens. That's a motion to approve. Could I get a sec? I guess I need to second that. Thank you. Any questions from board members? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Clemens. Next item on the agenda is CTE Sole Source Procurement Request Camp Greer. Questions from board members on this item? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody want to go camping? I believe they could work that out. What do you think? Next item is sole source procurement utilog. And are there questions for this one?
I do have some questions on this one.
Okay, Ms. Sharp, Lisa. Oh,
Yeah, Mr. Stowe.
yeah, his name wasn't the first one on here, you know?
Thank you, Ms. Sharp, for putting this together for us. So, Mr. Stowe.
Yes, ma'am.
You know I'm very passionate about transportation. I've been riding a bunch of buses.
Yes, ma'am.
I am very excited about what this is going to bring to our students, to our bus drivers, to the families of Buncombe County. Can you just refresh my memory about what this will do from a parent standpoint? So, tracking my grandson, who now drives, but when he rode the bus, how would I be able to do that going forward with this new system?
So this system, the EdgeLog system, and the reason we're asking for the sole source provider is because it's the only vendor that fulfills all the subscriptions and equipment needs that we have with regards to the Smart Bus grant. Essentially, it'll be a modernization of our transportation fleet. Parents will be able to have a login, an opportunity through a parent app to track in real time where their child is, adjustments to the bus. Also give us an opportunity as a transportation department to really use almost artificial intelligence in layering our student ridership with our GPS performance and our existing routes, so that as parents have the opportunity or the need to adjust transportation, as opposed to calling that principal at the school that says, I think it's bus 123 and we should be there at 1:15 or 3:15, maybe, most likely, you'd have an opportunity to submit a request through the app to have a real adjustment. If we had a vehicle that wasn't able to run that day and we need to sub, the parent would get a text that says, your bus 340 will be bus 102. Also, the idea with this is to provide a little bit more of a reliable opportunity for the families. We know that we have a finite resource with regards to drivers and employees, and my end goal with this program is to be able to look at some gaps that we may have with regards to staffing and schedules, so that maybe we can, in a smart bus manner, layer our start and end times so that we could maximize our existing employees with the students that need to have transportation home in a reliable fashion. I hope that answered everything.
That answers my question, and this is such an important thing that we're doing today with this upgraded system, because riding on those buses at 5:45 in the morning, yes, people do get on buses at 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning because of how far out, and I was talking to this bus driver and I said, oh my gosh, if I had to come and sub, how would I know where to stop? And so it created a lot of questions for me. I feel so good about our transportation system, and this upgrade is going to be wonderful. And hopefully parents will feel like their kids are very, very, very safe riding our buses.
And I hope that will. And one additional item that you kind of touched on, the tablets that we have in place, they didn't really fit the needs that we have, so it'll be an upgrade. You and I spoke about that earlier. But this will also, as we look at that, at the staffing needs that we have, and sometimes an unreliable staffed bus, it'll also give us turn-by-turn navigation and location for the stops, et cetera. So a lot of 21st century-esque information in the transportation world.
Well, you're doing a nice job with that, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
You and your team. Those bus drivers are the bomb.
We start early and end late every day.
Yes, they do, and they love our kids.
Every day.
Other questions or comments from board members? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I believe we're on Avery's Creek Elementary School re-roof Phase 3. Authorization to award the contract. Questions? We're going to put a roof on that school. So I have a motion I would entertain a motion to approve.
I approve, make a motion that we approve getting a roof on that school as soon as possible. There is
Thank
rain
you.
in the forecast.
We don't want to be catching any rain, and I will second that. Any questions or comments at this juncture? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? AC Reynolds High School Track Replacement Project, authorization to award a contract. We're going to have a track at AC Reynolds High School, I believe. Look at that. Do what? Go Rockets? Okay. Questions about this item? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Alexander's going to be out running that track pretty soon. North Buncombe.
Doing push-ups.
Every day at 5:15 in the morning.
He's everywhere.
He's
Already,
everywhere.
so,
He's
I mean,
everywhere.
why not?
Okay. North Buncombe Middle School Security Addition Project authorization to award a contract. Are there questions or comments about this? Hearing none, I'd entertain, I will move that we accept that. Could I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The entrance and lobby reconfiguration to accept the GMP and authorize CMAR to proceed. That's at Pisgah Elementary School. Any questions from the board on this item? I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're going to make Pisgah safe. Not that it's not,
Good.
but we're going to improve it. All right, Black Mountain Primary, proposed permanent sidewalk easement with the town of Black Mountain. Questions for Mr. Wyatt? Mr. Wyatt's been working on this for quite a while. Hearing no questions, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. I need a second. I'll second that. Any discussion or questions in this regard? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Memorandum of Understanding with the County of Buncombe regarding the solar project. Was I supposed to pull that? Okay, we talked about this a little bit. Are there questions for Mr. Wyatt or our attorney on this item.
Yeah, can I guess someone that's sort of the expert on the project just sort of explain this concept of, the savings associated with it, and I know upon retirement of the debt for the project, the parties agree that savings resulting from the continued solar kilowatt hour generation shall be used towards future solar or energy savings projects. How does that? I mean, how do we see that? I guess playing out going forward, as this is generally just the beginning of a longer term energy savings initiative.
So this is phase 2. Phase 1, and the county funds the entire solar project and any potentially future project that the county and the school board decide to enter into. And so this particular phase 2 will place solar panels on the roof of Oakley Elementary, Emma Elementary, Inca Middle, and North Buncombe Middle. And so the county is receiving some federal grant funds for this, but will also borrow money for the capital project. And so while there is still debt remaining on that, the savings, we will realize the savings in our utility costs because they are on our roofs and providing us with additional energy or putting that energy back into the grid. So we are supposed to use those savings and account for those savings in our utility line item when making a budget request to the county. And certainly we can also request additional funds for the insurance, maintenance, and upkeep of the solar facilities as well. But once the debt service has been paid off by the county, we are agreeing with the county to use any additional savings to roll that into future projects to help reduce further energy costs. And that could be additional solar projects, but it doesn't necessarily have to be solar. It could be other energy saving products too. But that particular part of the MOU would not become effective until once the debt is paid off by the county.
Okay, thank you.
And one last question on that, just because I did have a teacher ask me about panels that were at his school that were not in use. So just to clarify, that's not our fault. They were installed, right? But
correct. So the county oversaw, with the help of Mr. Fearley and Mr. Clark's departments, installed the phase 1 projects.
Okay.
And I'm sure many parents have seen those
Right.
on some of
That's why I'm
their
asking.
children's schools. Some of those projects are up, but they have not been turned on, meaning that the panels are not generating energy. That has to do something with, I believe, the power company, with Duke Energy, but it's between the county and Duke, and I'm not exactly sure but that is on Duke being able, I guess, just to turn those on and coming to whatever agreement with the county.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
We do
thank
not
you.
have anything to do with turning them on.
Okay, that's what I thought, but thank you.
Other comments or questions? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Second? All those I guess we've had a little discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Intent for purchase of E-rate related network gear. That's Mr. Frisbee. Do we have questions for people in the techie department about this?
I always have lots of tech questions, but not this time.
Oh, well. Okay, then I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? E-rate's a good thing. Not that I understand it, but it sure does help us
That's all I need to know.
Yes.
Yeah. Now we move to the consent agenda. And on this agenda, I have the minutes for February 2nd, regular meeting, and then the special called meeting. I have a personnel report, 2022-23 summer program plan, approval of board member training credits, and Lord knows this board has been to training, and policies and for second reading, policy 3430 school improvement plan, policy 4240 7310 child abuse and related threats to child safety, policy 7241 drug and alcohol testing of commercial motor vehicle operators. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I would like to request that we pull the school improvement plan from second reading and put it back into first reading. My request is simply due, I actually got feedback on this school improvement team, or school improvement plan policy from one of the school improvement teams that's in the Reynolds District. And they invited me to the meeting, and I said, well, maybe you'd like to read the policy that kind of governs what you do. And they did. They eagerly agreed, and they gave some great feedback. They really did. And for example, one of the pieces of feedback was that there's language in the school improvement plan policy that speaks to being very inclusive about, again, including diverse perspectives of our diverse school community and how we select parents to serve on the school improvement plan. But that sort of inclusive language that respects that diversity doesn't necessarily apply to the student selection process as well. It only mentions that students that will participate will come from the student government. And there's an opportunity there, as they suggested, to kind of broaden that and make it more inclusive to more students in the school other than just those that serve on school student government. That was just one of a few, but I thought it worthwhile to revisit the policy and look at that language particularly.
And to continue discussion along that line.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, without objection, we will, I guess, remove policy 3430 from second reading and prepare to place it on first reading for next month. Is that timeline okay?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson, is that timeline okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question about the summer program plan?
Sure.
And sorry if I missed this last time.
Summer program plan 2022-23.
Dr. Reed, maybe?
Currently, Dr. Reed's going to speak to that.
So the June 5th through 12th and the June 13th through 14th, are those two like mutually exclusive things? I think that's what's confusing me, because I guess I don't understand why under student eligibility criteria 9th through 12th isn't checked if we're offering remediation or assessment for NC Math 3, because obviously nobody in 8th grade's taking Math 3. So that's what's confusing me.
So 9 through 12 is included because we are offering that for Math 1, English 2, Math 3, and Biology.
It's just not checked on this program plan. I think that's what's confusing.
Okay, that may have,
like under
that may have
student
been an
eligibility
oversight.
criteria, the grade levels are all checked, but 9 through 12 is not
Oh, that's
checked.
right. It's not checked.
And
Okay.
so that's what was a little confusing to me.
That may have been an oversight. It was checked
Okay.
on the last document I saw.
Okay.
But there was a decision to include high school in this.
Oh, I'm glad for
in
that. I
this
just
plan.
wanted to, thank you for clarifying.
So could we get a motion to approve the consent agenda with these editorial corrections?
I'm fine with
Okay,
saying that.
good. Second, could I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Any opposed? The information agenda, we have financial reports, policies for first reading, Policy 2120, Code of Ethics for School Board Members, Policy 2123, Board Member Opportunities for Development, Policy 2330, Board Meeting Agenda, Policy 2410, Policy Development, and Policy 5001, Advisory Councils to the Board. So the next item is the announcement of future meetings, which is April the 13th. Work session and updates will begin at 4 in the executive conference room, and open session will begin at 5:30 here in the Minotaurium. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, if I could just make a quick comment on the
Certainly.
policy for first reading there around advisory councils, because that will come up for second reading next time. But this is an important policy for our schools, and I have a kind of a request that.
I'm sorry, what's the number?
The number is 5001.
Okay,
Yeah, advisory councils for Buncombe County schools.
to the board.
Yeah, just to read the first sort of paragraph briefly. So members of the Board of Education have a sincere commitment to the concept of citizen involvement in the Buncombe County schools. We believe that the people want good schools, that they have reasonable ideas about things the schools should do, and that they are willing to help the schools attain established goals. A purpose of the advisory structure is to provide informed advice to the school authorities. It's an invitation, right, for parents in our school system and our community to really come together in this advisory council setting and work collaboratively to provide informed advice. But I noticed, in the section where it defines how these advisory councils are composed and how parents are selected and the composition is selected, I guess, again, we have the opportunity now, I think, to add similar language that would be in that school improvement plan that I just mentioned, that would expand the kind of inclusivity of these advisory councils to represent the full diversity of our school community. Right now, it just speaks to a pretty narrow list of folks in our community that are sort of a part of it. And it's an opportunity to catch it here at first reading, to just review that language.
Yeah, so you're asking staff to review that and then have serious discussion around that item.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I totally agree. That's a great point.
All right, thank you.
Mr.
I think
Elliott.
there is a process of application that is put out there. Am I correct?
Yeah, well,
guys?
so at least it says, the PTA, PTO president, or co-president, at least one teacher elected by a vote of the school teachers, and then at least 3 lay people approved by the Board of Education from a pool of applicants based upon recommendation from the principal. It's that part that could be expanded just a little bit more to mirror the language that already exists in the school improvement plan that speaks to that sort of inclusive
I'm sure.
approach to our school community.
I'm sure that we can ask staff to have a conversation around that and then bring it back to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I don't think any action has to occur in that regard. Okay, I am trying to get to adjournment. So I could have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We have been in session since 2 o'clock today, and I want to thank all of our board members for their continued attention to the many items that we have discussed. Thank you for coming, and hope you have a nice Friday.